roll that beautiful copyright strike.
Yeah, right. Might as well.
Yep.
Because I know what's going to happen. It happened last week, so.
Yep.
What is up?
Good morning, everybody.
A,
welcome to the show.
So we could like cut it off at like 29 seconds, like everybody else does with stuff, but that song really don't kick you into like 37 seconds in. So
I know. Yeah.
So it's kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
Name that tune. We're gonna name that tune. If 3,000 people can name it, then I guess we'll stop using it.
There we go. Yeah. We should start doing that, like just using random clips of metal songs and see who get them right, just for the intro. If we're gonna get copyright strikes, we might as well have some fun with it.
Right. At least with this one, we know it gets lifted. Though I don't know about any other.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Any other songs out there?
That's true.
I think Sony Music's in charge of that one, right? I think that's right.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Now, because I always get that notification, and it's mainly just Facebook.
It is.
They're like, oh, well, you can't. This is blah 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 blah, and then I'm getting one like 2 hours later saying Sony Music has lifted the strike.
Yeah.
Now watch your entire video.
Yeah.
People at Facebook ain't got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Seems like after like 15 times you would like learn, but I guess not.
Yeah. Oh no, they are very diligent.
Yeah, they're diligent in some things. The stupid shit.
Yeah. Naturally.
Hey, let's get this guy right here because he found this on Facebook and then reposted it on Facebook. So
Yeah. You've had that happen. You have had that happen multiple times.
Let's put that guy in jail.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had that happen the other day, and I'm just like, dude.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And it wasn't really anything. Yes, there was like, you could tell what it was, but it wasn't like nudity.
Right. Yeah.
It was. I said, I was like, they asked me why I disagreed, and I said, well, because Sports Illustrated and Victoria's Secrets and all that's on here, and I've seen G-strings up the crack of these girls' asses. So like it was like 20 minutes later, they were like, "Oh, you're good." Like, yeah, we don't want to play this game, motherfucker.
Yeah, your hypocrisy is showing.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's like you let all these, like I just said, with Sports Illustrated and the magazines that are just for guys. Well, girls too. There's guys on there just as well, half naked. So so don't be hypocritical. It's either all or nothing, buddy. All or nothing. So.
I just don't get why they're. It's a closed group that you and I are both members of, and I don't really get that when it's a closed group that only a select amount of people are in.
Yeah, there's only like 100 people in there. It's like,
yeah, so So it's ridiculous, but
And it's like a meme sharing group, so I mean, it's
mm-hmm.
nothing, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. All right, well, I guess we better kick this thing into high gear today. I know we got a lot of news to cover, and
Yeah.
uh,
It was a good week for birthdays.
well, it was pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was. Some
Uh,
names that I think most of our fans are going to recognize.
yeah. Well, tomorrow's the big day. Of course, I couldn't cover tomorrow because it's the 31st.
Yeah.
But I know there's like three big names on that list for tomorrow. So
Yeah. Everybody had to be patient and wait for next week's show, and
yeah,
we've got something to talk about for next week's show. So
yeah, we'll bust that out before the end of the show as well.
yeah,
So
we will.
got a
Yeah,
big,
we'll bust that nut when we get to it. So.
this damn.
Oh, your audio dropped out again, buddy. Whatever you did before, undo it. Yeah, we had some. We were having some pre-show audio difficulties. We thought we had them ironed out here. So live show. Oh, it looks like we're plugging in something else. While we're trying to iron out these bugs here, give a shout out to my good friend James Washington. James is a classmate of mine from way back in the day. Not gonna try to date the both of us here, but so James, thanks for watching the show. Appreciate it.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, there it is. Yep, gotcha.
All right, cool. Bring out different microphones, I guess. Like, what the hell?
Pretty soon you're gonna look like you're gonna look like you're having a press conference. You have all sorts of microphones in front of
you. Yeah. Well, luckily I got backup, so in case this shit goes down like this, but
yeah,
I'm still getting feedback.
Yeah.
Through here.
You could look like Super Bowl media day at some point and just have like a podium full of microphones in front of your face.
Yeah. Let's see what's happening here. I was like, I'm getting a lot of feedback from like Erie in my headphones for some reasons. Maybe I don't wore these headphones out. Probably time to get new ones, I guess.
Maybe time to upgrade some of our gear.
Probably so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Wow. Well, I mean, the bad thing is I got a whole like brand new set of stuff in there I got for Christmas, but I was like, well, I'm not gonna plug it in until I actually have to. So, but it looks like I'm at that point.
All I'm hearing is it sounds like you need to go shopping.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I need to go shopping. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm sure my wife would just hate that.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
Because if I buy something, she's got to buy something.
Yeah, see, there you go. It's like, what's fair is fair,
Yeah. Oh, you're buying stuff for the pocket. Oh, well, I need this, and this. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yep.
Can you still hear me?
Yep. I still
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. I'm still trying to. I'm just trying to play with this and trying to see if I can get this feedback out of the headphones. It's kind of aggravating.
Yeah, it can get a little distracting, that's for sure.
It's just like a staticky,
Mm-hmm.
like echo kind of. I don't know. Weird. Maybe I got my volume up very high down here, so it couldn't be that. I have no idea. We're just gonna roll with it. Say fuck it, I guess. I'm just gonna have to hear the Rice Krispies in my ear.
Yep. Fuck it is.
Yep. Just snap, crackle, pop.
Mm-hmm. Into your morning.
Yeah. Well, but I guess better to have that happen this week than next week. That's for damn sure. So.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
I've really been pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that one.
All right. Anyway, I guess we kick this thing off with these birthdays here. July 24th through 30th. July 24th, we had Paul Geary, a drummer for Extreme. We had Joel Strutzel, guitarist for Killswitch Engage. July 25th, we had Manny Charlton, a guitarist for Nazareth. We had Mark Clark, bassist for Colosseum, Tempest, and Uriah Heep. So he's been in a few good bands here.
Mm-hmm.
We had Trevor Perez, guitarist for Obituary. Of course, Danny Filth, singer for Cradle of Filth. Then we had July 26th, we had Gary Sharon, vocalist for Extreme. Extreme getting a lot of love today.
Yep.
We had Andy Timmons, guitarist for Danger Danger. Jim Lindbergh, vocalist for Pennywise. And then Taylor Momsen, of course, vocalist for The Pretty Reckless. And if that don't make you feel old, then, Taylor Momsen, which played Cindy Lou Who in The Grinch, is 29 years old this year. So,
yeah, I know.
So, yeah. Way to make us feel old, Taylor. Thank you.
I'm telling you.
July 27th, we had Rex Brown, bassist for Pantera. Abe Cunningham, drummer for the Deftones. July 28th, we had Greg Gluffria, keyboardist for House of Lords. And then we had Michael Amott, guitarist for Arch Enemy. And then we had Jacoby Shaddix, singer for Papa Roach. July 29th, we had John Sykes, guitarist and singer for Thin Lizzy from 83 to 09. And then, of course, he's with Blue Murder and White Snake back in the heyday. Also on July 29th, we had Woody Weatherman, guitarist for Corrosion of Conformity. And then we had Ben Collar, drummer for Converge and Kill or Be Killed. And then none for the 30th, which I thought was kind of odd. Like, I guess the moms and dads decided to boycott that day. I don't know. So we're not making any musicians on the 30th, I guess. No. Well, none that I know of. So,
right,
or could dig up anything on it. I'm sure there's some out there. There's got to be as many bands and stuff that are out there. But
yeah.
Anyway, that's the birthdays that I found, and happy birthday to those. And of course, like always, if I forgot anybody, happy birthday to you. And anybody out there in the listening world have birthdays, happy birthday to you today. So.
Yep. I want to give a quick birthday shout out to my buddy Danny. He had a birthday yesterday, so
cool.
Happy birthday to Danny.
Happy birthday.
Yep.
Danny's days, I guess. Danny Filth, and then Matt Danny. So.
Yep. Hell yeah, man.
D days.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so we got a lot of news to go through today. I guess
Yes, we do.
Start rattling that off, I guess. So.
Yep. And we have some. We've got some sad news to pass along this week. And both of us this week, actually, this time.
Yeah,
so
more than we want to. That's for sure.
A hell of a lot more than we want to. So unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. Starting off over at blabbermouth.net, former suicidal tendency bassist Bob Heathcote has died at the age of 58 from injuries sustained in a motorcycle accident. Bob's passing was confirmed by his son Chris Heathcote, who wrote on his Facebook page, quote, "My father Bob Heathcote has left this earth after 58 years and nearly 2 months due to a motorcycle accident. I cannot put words together other than the fact that this is a loss I will hardly recover, if ever, and the fact that he was a hardworking father who raised 5 children, including me. His interests included music, traveling race cars, and attending racetracks. He was also a supporter of the Dodgers. In addition to his work within the technology and photography industries, Dad gained a bit of publicity in the late 80s as the bass player of the legendary punk/metal act Suicidal Tendencies. His tenure with ST lasted for just one album, the Epic Records release How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today, which spawned the hits Trip at the Brain and the title track How Will I Laugh Tomorrow. Those 2 songs garnered airplay from Headbangers Ball on MTV and active rock radio stations, including the defunct legendary Long Beach-based radio station 105.5 KNAC. After that album, he left ST, and the band would replace him with future Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo. Each and every moment I've shared with my dad will forever remain as a treat. Thank you, Dad, for everything you did for me and my family. I will miss not only your keen sense of humor, but you and me doing a lot of things we love doing together, including talking about or listening to music, traveling, going to the beach, going to Mexican restaurants, attending Dodger games, etc. R.I.P. Robert Monroe Heathcote, May 27th, 1964 to July 24th, 2022, end quote. Back in 2009, Bob told the Suicidal Maniac blog about how he came to join Suicidal, quote, "Amory Smith and I went to school together in Westchester, California. I remember one of the first times I played with Amory. After school, I took the public bus with my bass and a small amplifier, pushed along on my skateboard to Valor's place in Playa del Rey. At the time, he was playing his sister's drum kit. Just the 2 of us played for years on and off with Rick Batson and other guitarists. After Amory joined Suicidal Tendencies, the first record, they went on the road. Later, I traveled a bit with him and the band myself as sound engineer. Professionally, I had been doing live sound engineering seemingly forever for many bands around Los Angeles, more than playing bass. My first real engineering gig was the big show at the Olympic Auditorium, where Suicidal Tendencies was the headliner over Red Hot Chili Peppers and many others. That show was an eye-opener for me and my introduction to the punk scene, really. As for my own playing, I liked playing with Amory and Rick Batson, but it never really went anywhere professionally. Really, we never tried to do anything except practice in that old garage. We always seemed to be looking for a singer to come along to give us direction. Later, though I cannot remember how we met, I started playing a lot with Rocky George in a cover band, playing songs by the Scorpions, Judas Priest, and Motorhead. Rocky inspired me because he didn't play just rock and metal. We listened to a lot of jazz and fusion and Frank Zappa. I played a lot with Rocky along with Sterling Roberts on drums. One day I heard ST were looking for a new guitar player for their second record, and I told Rocky he should audition. A few days later, Rocky was in the band. Soon after, Amory Smith and Todd Moyer were doing this project called Uncle Slam, and I worked with them for maybe 6 months doing pre-production for a record. Mike Muir heard our tape and got us a record deal. I was very happy to finally get to have a chance record for myself in a real studio. But then just a couple of days later, Rocky called me and asked if I was interested in playing with Suicidal Tendencies because Muir wanted to cut Lucci. They were due to start recording 2 days later. Studio time was booked, and I had to make a decision immediately. I told Rocky I was interested in learning more, and he said to talk to Muir. At the time, I was playing bass a lot at night, but I also was supporting my family with a regular day job. I was married with one child who was now married herself, so I had to get the details from Muir and be sure he was going to be able to pay enough for my family. Here I was at a crossroads where I had never toured, never recorded, and I might have to refuse my dream job if there was not enough money. I could not leave my family homeless while I went on the road, so I had to talk to Muir. Went down to see Muir where he lived, the Streets of Venice skate shop on Lincoln, and sat with him in that upstairs room you see in the How Will I Laugh video. We talked for maybe 3 or 4 hours. He said he could pay me just enough, but he seemed torn by whether he really wanted to cut Luigi Mayorga from the band. He kept explaining to me why Luigi had to go, which I really didn't care about. I just wanted to hear him say, "You are the new bass player for Suicidal Tendencies." Finally, he did. What was really strange and something I will never forget is finding Luigi waiting downstairs when I came out of the room. Someone must have called him and told him I was talking privately with Muir. Luigi asked me what happened upstairs, and I told him, "Well, I'm in and you're out." He heard it from me first. I still regret telling him that way. He was always really nice to me, but I didn't want to lie to him. I just did not know what else to say, end quote. So it's kind of a long, strange trip on how some of these people join bands sometimes. But, 58 years old, gone way too soon. So
exactly. Way too soon. So, yeah. That's the kind of a band that I grew up listening to too. So it's kind of a touches home when you follow a band that long.
yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to find the post here, so I make sure I'm on the right thing when I try to post my. Yeah, there we go. All the Spotify stuff, so make sure I'm on the right.
I gotcha.
Yeah, because I get notifications, especially on Facebook, where you post it, the page posts it, the group posts it, so it's kind of like, okay, which one actually shows up on StreamYard? So,
I know. I know.
Yeah, man, we got our hands in a lot of baskets right now. So,
Yeah, we do actually.
Are we live on TikTok today or?
I don't think we're live on TikTok today. I'm still
Okay.
trying to sort all that out.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
cool.
to. This is gonna make me sound ridiculously old, but I think I'm gonna have to get one of the kids to help me.
Oh wow! Oh, man, that's funny.
But I
That's
know
actually
that sounds so bad. I know, but
funny. It almost reminds you of when your parents first got a cell phone. Like, hey, can you like do this for me? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And now we're in that category.
I know I'm on the other end of it. Yeah, I know.
We've gotten too busy with personal life that we have lost our tech savviness. So.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so more bad news over from Loudwire here. Jody Abbott, the original drummer in alt rockers Fuel, died on July 20th after living with Huntington's disease for multiple years. His death was announced by the Huntington's Disease Society of America Foundation, or Disease Society of America, on Friday, July 29th. Abbott co-founded Fuel in 1989 in the outfit's native Pennsylvania. He played drums on the group's first 4 EP releases, Small the Joy in 94, Fuel in 94, Porcelain in 1996, and Hazelton in 1998. Small the Joy was Fuel's initial band name. Abbott and Fuel parted ways in 1998 before the band hit big with their debut album Sunburn. That effort contains the alternative rock radio hit Shimmer. See, Jody's widow and, of course, wife, Amy Abbott, is an advocate for those affected by Huntington's disease. She says, being involved in our community, seek out a support group, volunteer for a fundraiser. There is so much knowledge out there, and it is important to talk to people who have lived through this. Amy added, they can commiserate, understand, and offer support in times of need. I learn something new every time I attend an HD event, visit Jody's neurologist, or attend a support group meeting. Huntington's disease is a mostly inherited progressive brain disease that can affect movement, mood, and thinking skills. Famed songwriter Woody Guthrie died from complications of the disorder in 1967 before medicine knew of the genetic link. Loudwire sends its condolences to Amy and the Abbott family. Learn more about the disease at hdsa.org. The Huntington Disease Society of America decided to announce that Jody Abbott, this was from their site, former drummer for the bands Fuel and Breaking Point, passed away on July 20th after a long battle with Huntington's disease, a fatal genetic disease that affects the nerve cells in the brain that is described as having ALS, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's all at once. Holy shit. So today, there are approximately 41,000 symptomatic Americans and more than 200,000 at risk of inheriting this disease. So, man, that's horrible. Man, imagine having all that at once. Holy crap!
No, I wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't even want to imagine having one of them. But like you say, having to go through all of that all at once. I mean,
man.
And how old was he? Was his age in the story?
I don't think he told his age.
Because I know he wasn't. I know he wasn't very old either.
No, I'll look that up real quick though. He man, yeah, he could have been very old because I mean, like I said, they were a band, while when we grew up. So
yeah. Well, to go over to the PRP.com for our last little bit of bad news. And this one hits a little close to home because
he was 55. So
55. So, yeah, I mean, he wasn't, he wasn't super old either,
yeah, it's
awful.
man.
Yeah. All right. Over at the PRP.com. Christian metalcore outfit War of Ages have announced the passing of their drummer Caleb Lubchow. Word of his passing follows the band's announcement earlier this week that they would not be playing their scheduled live shows this weekend. Lubchow's family revealed that Caleb died this past Wednesday, July 27th in Nashville, Tennessee. They issued the following statement earlier today, July 29th. Quote, "Dear family, friends, fellow musicians, and fans, this is the hardest post a family can make. It is with deep sadness that we let you know our oldest son and brother, Caleb Lubchow, passed away on Wednesday, July 27th at Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville. We miss him so much. Caleb was living out his lifelong passion of playing drums and making music with his friends. Caleb had recently returned from a tour in France with Admiral Brass Band, where he had an incredible time, and he was looking forward to going on the road again soon with his good friends and bandmates in War of Ages. In addition to playing with these two bands, he regularly played with many other musicians in Nashville and the surrounding area, as well as in Illinois. The number of fellow musicians, friends, and fans that came to Vanderbilt Medical Center to love and support Caleb over the past few days gave us great comfort. We are forever grateful for their friendship to Caleb and their stories they shared with us. Our once shy, introverted young boy grew into a man with a beautiful, magnetic spirit who lived life to the fullest and knew no stranger. Those who knew him well shared that Caleb was a friend to anyone he met and easy to love. He was an incredibly talented musician who was extremely humble and encouraging to others. We have been forever changed by Caleb's life and by his death. We deeply grieve our loss and know you do too. Caleb was a believer in his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and we take some comfort knowing he has begun his greatest adventure in a place where there is no more death, only life and love. With all our love, Kevin Lubchow, Austin Lubchow, and Paige McQuigg," end quote. So doesn't give any details as far as, the cause or even how old he was. He definitely looks like he probably couldn't be any more than maybe he in his early 30s. Just judging by the picture at the top of the story. So I mean, just really, really unfortunate. And in all three stories. So again,
Yeah, what's crazy is the you said that was in Nashville, and I do believe that Jody Abbott was living in Memphis. So
was he? Okay.
yeah, so it's a kind of close to home death too. So
yeah,
for us. So man,
yeah. So our thoughts go out to the families of all three gentlemen who have since passed on.
all right. Well, let's try to switch gears and get some feel good stories going.
Yeah, let's do that.
This one's over from Loudwire as well. Lamb of God's Randy Blythe is aiding the fight against deforestation, together with an Ecuadorian friend named Carlos, who the heavy metal musician met on his travels. In collaboration with Carlos and his family, Blythe purchased a swath of land in the South American country to replant native trees and help regrow the forest there. It was the Lamb of God's vocalist's love of surfing that led him to Ecuador, as the musician explains. And rewilding a new mini documentary the musician made about his conservationist quest, he shared it on Monday, July 25th. Blythe was able to buy the land in Ecuador with support from his Cameo. And Cameo is, of course, the online video sharing platform where a fan can pay a fee to have a participating celebrity, such as the Lamb of God vocalist, send a personalized video message to themselves or others. I made this short film as a thank you to all those folks who have paid me to sing them goofy happy birthday songs, wish their spouse happy anniversary, and sometimes viciously roast their friends on Cameo. Blythe explained alongside the short movie on Monday. In the film itself, the frontman narrates, "When you pull away from Ecuador's beach, the country is so much more than just beautiful coastline and great waves. I think this gets forgotten all too often by people like myself who go to different countries." He continues, but Ecuador also has the highest annual rate of deforestation of any nation in the Western Hemisphere. That's why the rocker and Carlos had their land fenced off, broke up the compacted earth and planted in indigenous trees and fruit vines. At the same time, we're preserving several acres of existing secondary forest. Blythe as Ecuador is on the equator, so plants, flowers, and trees can grow all year round. Our land is healing rapidly. In 30 years, it will look like pure jungle again. So,
Nice.
good on Randy for for doing that. That's
Yeah.
that's why I say like a lot of these. That's why I always had an issue with celebrities. They're most of them will be like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, we always back going, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
So I mean, this is good to know that that some of them are out there doing their part. So.
Well, I tell you one thing, we should probably we as just a people better start like following the lead of like people like that, like Randy,
Yeah.
because I mean, and I know you've seen it like around here, they're constantly fucking bulldozing land over
Oh yeah.
houses and shit. We better start off on some sort of eco rant or something like that, but we better start taking care of some of these forests and trees and stuff like that.
Well,
we got to start worrying about that shit because
Well, I mean, I know Gojira's big in the Amazon rainforest. They do a lot of stuff for that.
Yeah,
Rightfully so. Because I mean, like if you look, I know over 60% of the world's oxygen comes from the rainforest and the Amazon rainforest. So if you don't have oxygen, guess what? We don't live. So
we lose that, we're fucked. So I mean, it's ridiculous. I just knock all this down and put up a mall, or it's just ridiculous. Just kind of it is kind of ridiculous, the ambivalence we kind of have towards it. Let's just get rid of these trees so we can build this, that, and the other thing.
It's kind of we were talking about this the other day. Is there's a little place out on Bear Creek. I know you're probably familiar with that area, but there's a place out there where they're building some more townhouses out there, which they've only had like 2 sets out there for like 10 years. Now all of a sudden they want to build 20 because they're greedy and they want all that money because everything's going up. So I mean, I don't know. It's just like, to me, I hope they sit there empty for 3 years, in my opinion.
I just just kind of it's just kind of annoying. Hey, here's a piece of green space that doesn't have anything on it. I mean, let's rip it up and build.
I don't get it. That's why I've told my wife plenty of times I would love, if I ever could afford it, I would love to just buy 100 acres somewhere and just put myself in the middle of it.
That's what Angela wants to do too. She wants to buy a big ass plot of land, build something right in the middle of it, and have it all grow up around us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way to do it, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's not the worst idea in the world for sure.
Sasquatches need homes too, so.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they do. All right, staying over at the PRP. This one isn't, this one's not great news, but there's no one who passed away in this one, so that's a good thing. So, Moontooth have opened up on the concerning health situation currently being suffered by their guitarist and vocalist Nick Lee. Per the below statement, it's been revealed that Lee recently began suffering a series of seizures which required him to be hospitalized, including being put into a medically induced coma and intubated. With the medical bills piling up for the as yet unexplained illness, crowdfunding has been launched to help him out via GoFundMe. The band said of the matter, quote, Moontooth family, it's been a week since we made the announcement that we would have to be dropping off the Cave-In show at Gramercy Theater due to an emergency. While it wasn't very detailed, we went through an intense and honestly terrifying experience with one of our members. We were hoping that by this time everything would be back to quote unquote normal and Nick Lee would be able to address the situation and explain everything to you on his own. Unfortunately, that is not the reality at this time. It's not easy to write this, and there is no way to sugarcoat the situation, so we're just going with honesty. On Thursday afternoon, July 21st, we met up for rehearsal and to prep for the following night's show. Nick seemed like his normal self, but mentioned how exhausted he was and how he had been sort of foggy and confused the last 24 hours. We agreed to run the set, but finish early so he could get some rest and sleep it off. While setting up our gear, we were walking in and out of rooms and at the studio, and at some point, Nick had fallen and hit his head. While looking through security camera footage after the fact, we learned that Nick had a seizure and fell, hitting his head on a bass drum. We had found him just moments after it had happened and immediately called an ambulance to rush him to the nearest hospital. By the time the EMTs arrived, he had suffered a second seizure. Here we are a week later, and sadly, things have taken a turn for the worse. He has been suffering from seizures every night, escalating to the point of needing to be intubated and essentially put in a medically induced coma to give his body a chance to heal. The doctors continue to take many tests to properly diagnose Nick while keeping him as stable as possible in order to heal. The cause of all this still remains unclear and a very confusing situation as it came out of nowhere. Nick has absolutely no history of medical problems like these. Aside from the grind of touring life, Nick lives as healthy a lifestyle as anyone. We've all seen him running, climbing, and jumping on stages all over the country, occasional yoga, hiking, etc. Nick's fiancée, Liana, and his family have been at his side the entire week, providing as much love and comfort as humanly possible, keeping us updated as we all continue to navigate this whole ordeal. If you had the opportunity to know Nick, you know he has always been loving, compassionate, and would do anything and everything he could to care for his friends and family. No matter what the situation, he would always be there to talk and be leaned on, offering any support and comfort he could. We can't put into words how much Nick has done for the three of us, how he continued to inspire and push us to our greatest potential. Nick lives and breathes for what we do and has impacted the lives of many with his love and art. Now is the time to help our brother. While the doctors and hospitals are still trying to narrow down what causes his symptoms and bring him back to normal health, the medical bills stack higher and higher. It may take some significant time to recover from this as we are all getting more details. We wanted to start this campaign to get a step ahead of the matter so he may focus on his health and returning to normalcy without the stress and burden of a massive amount of debt piled against him. We know this is rough to digest, but we will all get through this together. Moontooth is family, and we will do whatever it takes to take care of one another. We love you. We're here for you. And as always, we greatly appreciate your support. Vin, John, and Ray, end quote. So, kind of tough to see somebody in a situation like that, obviously his bandmates and his family, but, in a situation where someone's going through something like that and no one has any answers, I think that makes it even more difficult because there's no idea of when somebody might recover, if they recover, how long it's going to take, or anything. Just all of the unknowns while somebody, someone they love lays there in a coma. It's just
right. Yeah, it's definitely at that point the family feels helpless. So.
Exactly. So definitely wishing nothing but the best, and hopefully they can figure out what's going on with Nick. That way they can put him on the right course for treatment and everything else. And yeah, if you can help with the GoFundMe campaign, you can find the article over at the PRP.com, and there is a hyperlink to that GoFundMe campaign.
Yeah. Trying to I changed microphones and I forgot to change the settings on the radio side. So
oh no.
So I'm kind of wondering it's not picking up that one though. So.
While you're doing that, I'll go ahead and read another one of my stories over here.
Yeah. Because you're good on there. So
yeah. So over staying at the PRP.com. With their Slaughter of the Soul anniversary tour scheduled to kick off across North America next month, Swedish melodic death metal legends At the Gates have announced that they have parted ways with lead guitarist Jonas Stahlhammer. A statement issued by the band on social media on July 23rd reads, quote, At the Gates have chosen to part ways with guitarist Jonas Stahlhammer. We are currently working to find a replacement for the upcoming shows. End quote. Stahlhammer had been performing with the band since 2017. His apparent firing follows allegations of sexual misconduct and coercive behavior that are claimed to have taken place via an online relationship. A fan began sharing those alleged interactions with him over at this Instagram account 3 days ago, and it's hyperlinked in the story if any of you want to go check it out. So, that's up to you guys. At the Gates, aforementioned North American Slaughter of the Soul tour will run as follows, and, the tour dates are there. I'm not going to get into those because I'm pretty sure we already talked about this tour, but it starts on August 17th in LA and ends on August 30th in New York City. So Municipal Waste, Thrown into Exile, and Enforced will be showing up on the tour at various dates at a couple of different different legs of the tour. So we'll kind of keep you guys up to date as far as any of this, any new updates as far as the allegations against Jonas. So if anything comes up, we'll give you guys a brief update on it, but not sounding too good for him. So uh-oh, your audio went out again.
I was muted, so.
Oh, you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to accidentally click or make a beeping noise or something while you were while you were reading. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. So the radio may only hear you. I don't know, but
oh, okay.
But whatever. Which sucks because that's where most of our listeners are. But
any of our listeners over at radio.co who happen to not be able to hear Jason, though he's just having a little bit of difficulty, we'll try to get it cleared up as quickly as we can. So if anybody just hears me and then hears a bunch of silence, know that Jason is here and he's working on it. So
yeah. All right, this one is over from Metal Hammer. Of course, we posted a little bit about this earlier in the week, but this is from Chad Gray's own words. So,
right,
yeah, Mudvayne frontman Chad Gray has opened up about the tumble he took off stage at a show in Tampa, Florida earlier this week. Gray slipped off stage during, ironically, a performance of Mudvayne's classic "Still Falling," and now via the singer's official Instagram page, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net. He's explained what exactly happened. Quote, I just want you to know that it's not like I walked out there and fucking slipped on a banana peel or something and fell into the crowd, he says. It was absolutely my intention to get out there and get down in your face and lay on you and lean into you and scream and have you scream back at me. It's probably one of my favorite parts of any show that I ever play is getting that close with you guys, end quote. Well, I actually just did another quote, so it's quote unquote. So I basically walked down the stage, edge of the stage, and I stepped across and I put my foot on top of the barricade, he explains. When I'm on the stage, there's about 5 feet underneath me from where my feet are at to the ground. So I'm even higher in my head and shit. So yeah, it's probably 4 or 5 feet. So what happened was that's why they all good stories start, right? So what happened was I stepped out, the crowd surged forward, I pushed my foot off backwards, so my foot went straight fucking down. My left foot was still on the stage. I hadn't stepped across yet, and my whole fucking body just went wham like that, right on top of the barricade. Oh shit! Right there, right across my sternum.
Oh.
I thought I was going to piss my pants. It hurt so fucking bad. We were ironically in the course of not falling, which is amazing. So I just started singing that, and I was able to sing. So I just pushed through the shit. It was fucking brutal, he adds, but we did it and we got through it. I'm on day 2 now. I'm hoping this is the worst of it. I hope it's kind of like lifting weights where you get sore for a couple of days. But the good news is I didn't break a rib. Otherwise, this tour could be over, and I would absolutely be fucking devastated because all I wanted to do for the last 2.5 years is get back out there and be with my fucking heavy metal family around the country and hopefully soon around the world. Hopefully Chad recovers from that and gets back out there. I'm pretty sure it doesn't sound like it's too major. A lot of bruising, maybe. So
yeah. But you may want to keep both feet on the stage, or just find a different way out into the crowd.
yeah. Surfing usually works better.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure Chad's already probably looking back on it and getting a chuckle out of it now. But I mean, obviously you don't want to see something like this happen. But I mean, it did, and I mean, how perfect was it that he fell off the stage while singing "Not Falling"?
Not falling, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, he wasn't singing like "Dig" and then fell off stage. I mean, it would have been like, oh man, he fell off stage, but fell off stage while singing "Not Falling." I mean, you can't make this shit up, man.
It's like it just some things just work out so perfect, right?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, thankfully he wasn't, seriously injured. But yeah, so since he's just kind of banged up a little bit, you can kind of chuckle at just kind of the karma of it, and how the irony of the situation, so. All right. Well, apparently I had a lot more shitty news than I thought I did earlier in the week as I was like gathering all these stories because, going from one to the other is like, God, I got so much horrible news. Going back over to blabbermouth.net, Stabbing Westward vocalist Christopher Hall has been diagnosed with throat cancer. As a result, the band has been forced to cancel his previously announced shows this summer while he undergoes treatment for the disease. On Wednesday night, July 27th, Hall took to Stabbing Westward's social media to write, quote, "I'd like to apologize to everyone who made travel plans to see us in August and September. We've had to put those shows on hold while I deal with a serious health issue. I've been diagnosed with throat cancer. Prognosis is really good, but it's going to involve a couple of surgeries and 6 to 8 weeks of chemo and radiation. So unfortunately, I won't be singing anytime soon. I'm hoping to be feeling more human by Halloween and have my voice back by Christmas. So again, sorry for the inconvenience," end quote. That's kind of the fucked up thing to where we've gotten to is where a guy has to apologize twice.
I was just about to say that.
He has to apologize twice in one post for getting cancer, and having to cancel shows. I mean,
Yeah.
fuck all that noise.
Well, I'm sure there's people out there pissed off, and
Yeah,
I had tickets to that.
I know. Yeah. Well, we were talking about that either last week, the week before last. Where like Des Fafara had to go through the same thing with his wife, and then I can't remember who else it was. We were talking about who had canceled shows while they were. It was the guy who from Deep Purple who left the band to take care of his wife. Same thing. I mean, you're a cold son of a bitch if you get mad at somebody for either dealing with something like that directly or taking care of a loved one. You're just a cold piece of garbage.
Right.
So yeah, our thoughts go out to him also. Hopefully he can, get back to hell first and foremost, and then, get back to doing what he loves. So
yeah, most definitely. Hopefully everybody that's able to recuperate from the stories today are able to do so, because like I said, this is the people, this is their living. So I mean, it ain't much you can do about it when you get to 55 and 55 and you've been a musician your whole life. It's like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
All right, this one is also over from Metal Hammer. Iron Maiden just don't do half measures, do they? Having spent years flying around the world on various versions of their own plane, Ed Force One, the heavy metal legends have seemingly been given an awesome addition to their vehicular collection in the shape of their very own train. To celebrate Maiden's much anticipated arrival in Gothenburg on July 22nd as part of their Legacy of the Beast tour, Swedish train operator MTRX put on a special train service for the Maiden fans that ran from Stockholm to Gothenburg on the day of the show. Labeled Train 666, the train was a especially dolled up X74 74004 model, decked out in Iron Maiden regalia and filled with limited edition Maiden merch for 244 lucky passengers. The train was apparently a joint venture between MTRX and Warner Music. Sweden has always been important to Maiden, so we thought they deserved us to go an extra 110%, and we wanted to put on an experience and event for their fans, explained Darren Edwards, international product manager at Warner Music, in a video released by SVT. The whole band flew in early. Steve's playing football the day before the show, as he often does when he's in Sweden. Nico is probably playing golf, so there's just a special connection. They love Sweden, and they know the fans are really special over there. Most brilliantly of all, according to a Swedish Transpotting channel on YouTube, the service has continued to run with its Iron Maiden makeover still very much intact. You can check out some photos of the Train 666 courtesy of Iron Maiden's official Instagram. There's also pictures of it on Metal Hammer if you want to check it out there. But either way, it's a pretty cool looking train.
It is, yeah. Yeah, that is pretty bad. I hope if it's just the one train, I hope they kind of leave it.
Oh yeah. I don't think they would. I
just
don't
kind
think
of leave
it. Do
and I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to Scandinavia too. You know, Sweden and
Yeah.
Finland and Norway, Denmark. I've always wanted to go up there. It'd be a cool place to go visit. But all right, staying over at Blabbermouth. Former Guns N' Roses guitarist Brian Buckethead Carroll, who was in the band between 2000 and 2004, says that 10 of his personal guitars have been stolen. The eccentric musician who wears a fried chicken bucket on his noggin and talks only through a hand puppet revealed the theft in a post on his website earlier this week. Quote, 10 of the most important guitars of my life were stolen, he wrote. It's a tremendous loss. I'll never really be able to replace them, but I'm looking for anybody who knows of any instruments that come close to these. Hopefully somebody can help out. I'm trying to get 2 studio Gibson Les Pauls. Please contact service at bucketheadpikes.com. Thank you, end quote. Buckethead quit Guns N' Roses in 2004 after becoming fed up with Guns' inability to complete an album or tour, his manager told MTV at the time. A year and a half ago, Guns N' Roses guitarist Richard Fortus talked about what it was like to work with Buckethead for a couple of years in the early 2000s. Quote, Bucket is very musical, but I think a lot of guys, phenomenal, prodigious talent, they're not necessarily... I think Bucket's music is great, Fortus said. What he does on his own, he's out there, but he did understand how to make 3 guitars work, and that's a very difficult thing. And he would lay out and just stand there and be weird and buckety, and then he would come in on the choruses, and it would be huge. He got that. He understood that. He's a phenomenal talent, but the thing is, social kids spend so much time in their bedroom practicing that they don't really – it's just different for them socially. So kind of, another one of those Blabbermouth stories that kind of goes off on a tangent. So
I've seen that a few times on here. Just like just like with Randy Blythe's story earlier, they started going off and talking about the new album. We already know all that. So
right, yeah. So
you're a fan. If you're a fan, you already know that. So.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and leave it at that. But if anybody out that way, comes across any musical instruments, floating around.
Well, maybe they'll get lucky and be like the one story we did where the pawn shop guy realized what he had and contacted the owners of the stuff and said, "Hey, here's your stuff back."
Yeah, let's hope so. So,
crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this next one's over from Blabbermouth. Richter, currently used by members of Korn, Megadeth, Lamb of God, Rammstein, and Aerosmith and others, has announced a collaboration with Catherine Hanneman on the first ever signature strap to bear the name of Slayer, founding member and guitarist Jeff Hanneman. The strap is the brainchild of longtime Hanneman guitar tech and Richter associate Warren Lee, produced in an effort to pay tribute to the tragically fallen axe slinger, who wrote some of Slayer's most iconic songs, including Raining Blood, South of Heaven, and Angel of Death. Jeff's wife, Catherine, has directly green-lighted the strap, which offers fans a special way to keep Jeff as close as they shred. The strap features a silhouette of Hanneman, as well as his signature, dates of his birth and passing, plus a unique Jeff Hanneman logo created exclusively for the strap. The width is 3.15 inches, length adjustable 36.2 to 56.9 inches. The very softly padded guitar strap comes with a comfortable padded hem for highest wearing comfort. A classy stitched seam gives the strap a noble contour and includes a reinforced area around the pinholes. The ergonomic padding is made of special cold foam that runs throughout the entire shoulder part. For more information on that, you can visit richterstraps.com. So, pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, like I said, I always like the stuff when they pay tribute to people that have passed or.
Yeah. Very, very, I'd say very appropriate product line to come out with for Jeff Hanneman too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely well-deserved tribute too. Speaking of, over at the PRP.com, Cliff Burton, the late bassist vocalist of thrash metal legends Metallica, will be getting a new statue via Knucklebones in early 2023. The handcrafted statue is currently in production and will be limited to 3,000 copies. A portion of the proceeds will go towards the Cliff Burton Music Scholarship Fund. Prior to his 2020 passing, Cliff's father, Ray, saw to it that profits earned from Cliff's share of the royalties on Metallica's first 3 albums went to that scholarship fund at his son's old high school. Pre-orders of the statue are available now through knucklebones.com. Cliff tragically passed away in a bus crash at the age of 24 while on tour in Sweden back in 1986. Notably appeared and contributed to Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets, and To Save Time. There's what it's going to look like. At Knucklebones, man, that website does some really cool shit. They do some really cool shit, especially and speaking of Cliff Burton, like we are right now, Knucklebones, they're last week reported they're going to be in a collaboration to do like a beer,
right?
So Cliff Burton definitely getting a lot of love. Like I say, rightfully so. Guys like Cliff Burton and Randy Rhoads, and since I'm talking about action figures and at the PRP, I've got another story about it. 8-inch action figures of 2 members of celebrated Australian hard rock icons AC/DC have newly been announced by NECA. Fully articulated figures of the group's legendary guitarist Angus Young and late frontman Bon Scott, another one who deserves all these tributes, will both be arriving this fall. Those figures are based on the aforementioned musicians' respective appearances in the music video for their gold-certified 1979 single Highway to Hell. That song was the title track to their 7 times multi-platinum selling album, which was ultimately their final record with Scott, who died in February of 1980 at the age of 33 as a result of acute alcohol poisoning. Both figures are expected to arrive in October of this year, with more details coming. Overviews for both figures and their respective packaging can be found here and here. 2 hyperlinks, one for each figure. But what we'll do here is, let's see, we've got Angus, and we have Bon. So there you go. Really well done as far as the detailing and everything. I do like that the AC/DC ones are they're actually, don't get me wrong, that Cliff Burton statue is impeccably done, because like I say, Knucklebones has done some really amazing stuff, but I do kind of like how this one's a little different. They're actually action figures. They've got the articulation and everything, so that'll be kind of cool.
And if you're like me, I'll buy them just to know what it feels like to hold 8 inches in my hands. So,
there you go.
I got one more here. My last one is over from Metal Sucks. This is actually pretty interesting for the fans to participate in. A big part of working behind the scenes at metal is learning about who will act like a complete dickhead to you. Nothing is more depressing than announcing to a room full of your peers that you're about to interview one of your musical idols and watching all of them grimace and trade a knowing look. Sure, it's unsurprising to learn that musicians in a community which puts its founders on godlike pedestals would be up in their own asses, but you're always hoping that your favorite rock star is going to be down to earth and relatable, or at least play the game and answer a few questions without incident. However, this is not always the case, and in metal is especially egregious. Maybe it's because metal bands often have to really claw their way to the top of a scene that usually doesn't get taken seriously by the mainstream. But damn, when metal musicians are difficult, they are fucking difficult. They are bossy, mean, entitled, and manipulative in a weird psychological way. If you dislike being spoken to in a disrespectful way, lighten up, be a team player. If you don't want to work unpaid overtime, then there's no room for laziness here. Of course, these artists are often the most sensitive and reactionary, flipping out and publicly slamming others when things don't go their way. The thing is, I'm the press. For every musician meltdown I've encountered, I've received just as many terse, furious apologies from artists who know that I'm necessary in promoting their album, even if they regard me the same way they might an earwig. I've also talked to hundreds of really respectful, kind, generous, down-to-earth artists, but this post isn't about them. what really
Right.
shows that an artist is a diva is how they really treat their fans, the people on the ground who make their careers possible. So as the fans, you tell us who's the biggest diva in metal, who acts like you're lucky to talk to them, or bosses people around because they're a rock star. Have you ever had an interaction with a metal musician that's fundamentally changed how you relate to them? Let us know in the comments. Your most exhausting and obnoxious stories are welcome here. So you can go over to metalsucks.com and find that story and leave your comments there. It'd be interesting to see what they wind up posting about this later. But
Yeah. Unfortunately, I should say, I was going to say, unfortunately, I've never had a run in with a musician that could be deemed negative. Of course, I haven't had many run-ins with with any
right,
big name musicians, but I haven't had, unfortunately for that story, I haven't. But any interactions I've had have always been good ones, and they've been short because I've never really wanted to be one of those overzealous fans who wants
right.
autographs and pictures and everything else. So
I'm definitely getting a picture if I meet somebody. So,
oh, I mean, I'm not trying to begrudge anybody who tries to get a picture, but I mean, you do hear some of these horror stories about how just like some of these people, they meet fans and people just literally just start hanging all over them, and they just
right.
so there are like we said before, there are two sides to every story, because I mean, these guys, they get out there and they've been up on stage and they're tired and they just want to go back to the bus or whatever and get a shower and go to bed, but and you got these people who just want every second of their time, so.
Well, that was the cool thing. Like when we met Mark Osaqueda out at the Bass Strikes Back tour,
Mm-hmm.
he was just hanging out at the bar or whatever, and it was so funny because I was wearing a Death Angel shirt from a couple of years before that we saw him in Texas, and he noticed my shirt and started talking to me. So it was kind of like cool. Like he was talking to other people, and I was just standing there waiting my turn, and then
Yeah.
he just like, "Oh, dude, cool ass shirt. Where'd you get that?" And I was talking about it. He goes, "Oh, yeah, it's the one we headlined," and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then we got to talk about Hellfire and other. So I mean, it was a pretty cool conversation. And he was like, "Yeah, dude, let's get a picture." So he was like,
There you
"Yeah,
go.
he was more excited about the picture than I was, I think." So. Of course, I don't know how many drinks he was in either, so he may have been feeling pretty good. So,
yeah, he probably was, but hey, that's all right though.
oh yeah, you never know. I mean,
That's all right.
they're not driving; they're riding a tour
No,
bus or
hell
something.
no. Yeah. Be looking forward to seeing that tour again in September. I'm looking forward.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's going to be great.
yeah. We don't have to drive as far.
No. But maybe like 45 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Just up to Nashville, just off of 3rd Avenue there. Yeah. It'd be about a 45-minute drive. Won't be too bad. Shit, we could probably park in that. Parking structure you guys park at for work and just walk down to 3rd. So.
Oh no, not anymore. They made us give all that back. So.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I was hoping to hang on to it for at least till for a little while longer. At least till the Black Label and Anthrax show, because that's like right around the corner.
Yeah, it's only about 2.5 weeks away. I know.
Yeah,
so is this the weekly playlist that we
that is the weekly playlist. Yeah.
All right, there we go. We'll leave that up for a little bit. If anybody wants to copy and paste that link, they can do so.
Did you already go through your stories already?
Yep.
Wow.
The 2 stories about the action figures, I kind of piggybacked both of them
on
top of one another. So yeah, that'll let me double check real quick, but yeah, I think that gets me through. Yep, that does. That gets me through the gets me through my current events for the week. So
All right. Well, then I'll go down through the headlines that I had written down here. So,
nice.
So Dave Ellefson has made a Megadeth supergroup with 2 other ex-members, guitarist Jeff Young and guitarist Chris Poland, and they will play 2 early Megadeth albums in full, Killing Is My Business and So Far So Good So What. So that ought to be interesting. So
Yeah, that will be interesting.
Wonder how Dave feels about that. Mustaine, it is.
Yeah.
But I guess if Ellison had writing parts in it, I guess he can do, he's got just as much right to it as Mustaine does. So.
Yes, he does.
And then I don't know if you have any Haken fans out there, but they are actually in studio recording a new album right now. So I've seen where Kirk Hammett wants to score movies. So that's going to be pretty interesting to hear because I know he's a horror fan too. So
yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to try to do more horror type stuff or if he just wants to do it in general. But
he should collaborate with Rob Zombie.
Yeah, right. Which I don't know if I didn't see the videos yet. But I said Rob released 2 songs from the Monsters.
Apparently.
I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't. I saw something about that the other day where and apparently they're 2 brand new songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't had a chance to listen to either one of those either. But I mean,
they haven't been on the release radar or anything on Spotify. So kind of.
Okay.
I guess I'm just going to have to dig and try to find them. So
yeah,
maybe they're on his site or something. I'll check it out.
Oh,
I wouldn't mind listening to them. So
that could be.
And I think we posted this one on the group page too. But a fan rushed the stage at a Rage Against the Machine concert, and security took out Tom Morello instead. So it's like, oops.
Yeah. I'm wanting to say, that one was posted on the Facebook group, but I think it was one of the members who actually posted it first.
Yeah.
Can't exactly remember which member it was. So if said member is listening, we'll try to give proper credit for that. So I did see. I did watch something this morning where Joseph Quinn, who played Eddie Munson on Stranger Things, got to jam with Metallica backstage at the Lollapalooza. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty good. They gave him a shout out at another concert too. So
yeah,
so it was pretty cool. Yeah, this one kind of surprised.
And they gave him a guitar that was like the exact replica of the one that he played in the show, and they all signed it and shit.
Yeah,
God almighty.
Yeah, he's living on a cloud 9 right now. So.
I'm telling you what.
So this one kind of surprised me. Not really that Rob Halford feels this way, but it took him so long to figure it out. But so right. Rob Halford isn't thrilled about his Judas Priest Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction via the Musical Excellence Award. I guess he thought he was actually getting in. I don't know, but
yeah.
Rob, we that's what we've been bitching about for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially on this show. But
yeah, I was actually wondering how long it was going to take them to figure that out too. That they weren't technically, they weren't technically being inducted. And what's odd. And what's odd is more. There were more than one of our outlets that we kind of refer to for a lot of these stories. There was more than one media outlet that had reported that they were being inducted, and they weren't.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I can kind of understand like Rob Halford's. Kind of, being maybe you could kind of excuse him being a little slow on the uptake there, but how do these media outlets fuck that up? I mean, that's what I don't get. Because they were like, oh, Judas Priest is being inducted to the Hall of Fame. I was like, no, they aren't. Yeah. So that's what got me.
Well, we've talked about our outlets before, so unfortunately, we don't have the the backing to go out and do these things ourselves. So
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean,
we have to depend on third parties. So
yeah, but I mean, get the details right. But yeah, I can totally understand why you'd be pissed. I totally get it.
This one kind of surprised me too. Is Slash doesn't own or listen to his band's music. So kind of interesting. You don't even listen to it, but
I don't really find that aspect as surprising as I do that
Just
he
not
doesn't
owning
that
it,
he,
yeah.
that he doesn't own it. Yeah, that's the more surprising aspect of that to me.
So Motorhead's special 40th anniversary edition of Iron Fist will be released in September. So all Motorhead fans be on the lookout for that. Autopsy announced their first new album since 2014. So Autopsy fans can get excited about that, I guess. So.
Yep.
And then Slipknot's Tortilla Man injures his ankle, but will continue touring. So, man, a lot of people getting hurt on tour right now.
Yeah, I saw the picture of his ankle. It was pretty damn black and blue.
Yeah. So hopefully they all can recover from their bruises in time to get back out on stage and do their thing. So
yeah. Let's
all right. So, with that being said, I guess we can head over to hitting the road. I only have two here. I don't know what all you found, but
it was actually pretty light this week. I was kind of surprised, but yeah, I mean, we've got enough to put the segment together. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. I don't even have 2 full pages this week, so yeah.
I only have 2 that I found. So
all right.
So the first one I had was Shadow of Intent, Enterprise Earth, Inferi, and Wormhole announced the North American tour that will kick off on October 5th in Montreal, Quebec at the Club Soda, and then ends on November 4th in Hartford, Connecticut at Webster Theater. Then I have Converge, Full of Hell, and Pet Brick announce a European tour. The current tour with Converge is with Meshuggah and Torch. That's still going on, or actually that one kicks off, in September. A little short 2-week run there. September 16th in Worcester, Massachusetts at the Palladium, and then ends on September 30th in Minneapolis, Minnesota at Myth Live. Then, of course, the one I just talked about, the Full of Hell and Pet Brick tour, European tour, kicks off November 5th in Manchester, UK at the Damnation Festival and ends on November 13th in Cologne, Koln. I don't know how they pronounce that. Cologne, I don't know. Denmark at the Essig Fabric. So that's the only 2 that I found that were newer. I did see something about Warbringer and stuff, but I thought we had covered that one already.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that last week. Warbringer, Heathen, and the opener escapes me at the moment. But yeah, they're gonna be out west. So
yeah. No, nowhere near here, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. So. All right, so I did have those 2, but that's totally cool. That's fine. The funny thing is like the only website that had any new concert tour releases this week was the PRP.com. I didn't have any from Loudwire or Blabbermouth or anything else, which is kind of weird, but but it be like
I think these two that I found were on Metal Injection. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, all right. But as the kids say, it be like that sometimes, I guess.
Yeah.
So, for the week of the 23rd through the 30th, over at the PRP.com, as I mentioned, we have Traitors, Aversions, Crown, Scumfuck, and Worm Shepherd going out starting October 13th in West Palm Beach, Florida at Respectables, finishing November 12th in San Antonio, Texas at Vibes Underground. No Nashville date for that tour. Then the Butcher Babies are going to be going out on a mini tour. They will be going out with Uncured starting August 24th in Las Vegas at Backstage Bar, finishing August 30th in Fayetteville, Arkansas at George's Majestic Lounge. Then they will be with Uncured and Lions starting September 1st in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Pierre's, finishing September 7th in Cambridge, Massachusetts at Sonia. No Nashville date on that tour. Then we have Variables Boundaries, Dr. Acula, Orthodox, and Distinguisher going out starting October 7th in Asbury Park, New Jersey at House of Independence, finishing November 2nd in Denver, Colorado at the Marquee Theater. No Nashville date on that tour. Then Rollo Tomasi is going on a European and UK tour starting February 3rd, 2023 in Antwerp, Belgium at Trix, finishing February 15th, 2023 in London at the Electric Ballroom. Then Ken Mode and Frail Body going out on tour starting October 20th in St. Paul, Minnesota at Turf Club, finishing November 12th in Fargo, North Dakota at the Aquarium. They will be in Nashville on October 25th at Dark Matter. Then we have Vomit Force, Simulacra, and Snuffed on Sight going out starting October 16th in Louisville, Kentucky at Mag Bar, finishing October 16th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Kung Fu Necktie. They will not be in Nashville on that tour, but they will be coming to Chattanooga on October 7th. They will be at Poor Taste. Then we have Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid going to Canada. They will be with Chastity opening as openers starting September 27th in Barrie, Ontario at the Queens, finishing October 3rd in Quebec at La Source de la Martinière. I hope I said that right, all of our Canadian fans. Then they will be on a short leg with Botfly as openers starting October 5th in Fredericton, New Brunswick at The Cap, and finishing October 8th in St. John's, Newfoundland at the Rock House. That will be Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid only. Botfly will not be appearing on at that last show in St. John's, Newfoundland. Then we have Head PE going on a fall tour. The openers for the fall tour have not been announced yet, and I see that Jason has dipped out for a second, so he may have been having some more technical difficulties. So I'll hold the fort down until he gets back, and he's back. Well, welcome back there, buddy.
Like I didn't pay much attention to it on my end, but I got to looking over at the live feed on Facebook, and I was froze over there, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" So,
yeah. I wasn't sure if that was something that was just happening on my end or what, because I could still hear you fine. So
yeah, well, I've been froze over here on the laptop for a minute, but we were still, I was still going, still moving and everything on Facebook and Twitch and everything. So I wasn't too worried about it. I said, well, I can't see it, I don't care, but as long as everybody else can see and hear me. But
right.
But then I froze over there, and I'm like, okay, something's going on. So
yeah,
I was actually on the wrong Wi-Fi channel. So.
Okay. All right. There you go.
So it's great. I got to be on one Wi-Fi because my laptop's configured to that Wi-Fi to print everything, and then I forgot to switch it back over. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I was on my slower internet speed, so which was the main reason that I got the higher internet speed to begin with. So.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna continue knock out the last few here. We have Head PE going on a tour this fall. The openers have yet to be announced. They will be the tour will be starting September 2nd in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at Club David, and will finish October 8th in Seattle, Washington at the Fun House at El Corazon. No Nashville date on that tour. Then we have Silent Planet and Spirit Breaker going on tour in September. A little quick 2-week run in September. Starting September 3rd in Little Rock, Arkansas at Vino's and finishing September 16th in Nashville at East Side Bowl. Then we have Norma Jean and Islander going on tour in September also. Starting September 9th in Jacksonville, Florida at Hooligans. Finishing September 22nd in New Orleans, Louisiana at Southport Hall. There is no Nashville date on that tour, but they will be in Memphis, Tennessee on September 13th at Growlers. Excuse me. And last bit, Growlers. Then Woe Is Me and Close Your Eyes are both having a reunion show. Both bands are getting back together at the same time at the same show. So, and according to the PRP, there may be more shows to announce, but there haven't been any made as of yet. So that reunion show for both of those bands is going to take place October 29th in Dallas, Texas at Gillies. So
it's an orgy of reunions. So
yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. So that is the Hit in the Road
They actually should call it that, the Metal Orgy Tour.
There you go. Come one, come all.
That's right. Oh, man. Oh. Just have women in the audience being like on that Howard Stern movie where they just sit on the speaker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. I guess,
that was Private Parts, wasn't it? That Howard
yeah,
Stern
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Was it Private Parts?
Yeah, that was it. All
So
right.
yeah, pretty quick hitting the road segment this week. And I've only got just over 2 pages of history this week too. So that's even short.
I was just about to say, I guess we need to go over into that so we don't forget it. So
yeah, we may want to do that.
All right, my notable moments in metal history this week. July 25th, 1983, American heavy metal band Metallica released their debut album, Kill 'Em All. The release is regarded as a groundbreaking album for thrash metal because of its precise musicianship, which fuses new wave of British heavy metal riffs and with hardcore punk tempos, which I don't know who described that way, but okay. I don't know about
well,
punk,
I mean,
punk tempos. That's
I definitely wouldn't have used that description myself. But I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. July 25th, 1980, AC/DC released their 6th internationally released studio album, Back in Black. It was the first AC/DC album recorded without Bon Scott, who had died February 19, 1980 at the age of 33. The album has sold an estimated 49 million copies worldwide to date. I don't know if that's to date in there or now. I'm sure it's sold way more than that by now, making it the second highest selling album of all time and the best selling hard rock heavy metal album. Yeah, we know that's not true anymore. According to Nielsen ratings. July 26, 2021, Joey Jordison dies at the age of 46. He was a drummer and co-founder of the metal band Slipknot, as well as guitarist of horror punk band Murder Dolls. In August 2010, Jordison was voted the best drummer of the previous 25 years by readers of Rhythm magazine. Which, wow, that's a pretty big honor there if you consider the drummers that came before him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe they never heard of Thomas Hake. I don't know, but July 26, 2009, AC/DC singer Brian Johnson appeared as the star in a reasonably priced car on the BBC television program Top Gear. His time was 1 minute 45.9 seconds, tied him with Simon Cowell for the second fastest time. He was introduced by host Jeremy Clarkson as a man who has sold more albums than the Beatles, and I bet almost none of the audience has ever heard of him. Which that would kind of be odd if you've never heard of him by 2009.
Right.
Like, Jesus. He's only been with a band for, 30 years at that point down here.
Yeah.
And especially being in British, television, that's kind of, they would be more keen to knowing who he was than anybody over here.
Yeah.
July 28th, 1992, rapper Ice-T announced that Warner Brothers Records would pull the controversial song Cop Killer from all the future copies of his Body Count album. The song had been the targets of protests by law enforcement groups who said it encouraged the killing of police. Ice-T said he would give away recordings of Cop Killer at his concerts, and in an ironic twist, he would later join the cast of the NBC police drama Law and Order. Oh man, hey, money talks, man.
Yeah, it does. You want to talk about accusing somebody of selling out?
Yeah. Well, like I said, man, people don't understand that a lot of that stuff is for for reaction and to help album sales. They're probably he probably never ever felt that way personally.
Probably
I don't know. He may have. I don't know, but.
Well, what was it that Tom Araya said? He said if I can put a pentagram on something and sell it to make money, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, he grew up a Catholic faith or something, and it was just like, hey, whatever. people want to buy a pentagram, then I'm gonna throw a pentagram on it. So
There you go.
you know. July 29, 2007, heart problems forced Kiss singer and guitarist Paul Stanley to abandon a show in California. Paramedics stopped and restarted his heart to give it a regular rhythm after his heart spontaneously jumped to 190 beats per minute. Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I guess we're lucky Paul Stanley's even still around. So.
I'm telling you.
I guess that's why that tour's been going on for, since 2007. But
right. Yeah.
Oh, man. Heart can't take it. July 30th, 2019, Kraftwerk won a long-running legal battle over their song Metal on Metal when the European Court of Justice ruled against a sampling of the track by hip-hop producers Moses Pelham and Martin Haas in 1999. The Metal on Metal sample, specifically a drum sequence repeated throughout, was used by the producers over a version of the Sabrina Settler song Nur Only Me is what it means. So, but there we go. That's all of the notable moments that I had that's not repetitive from before. Like some of the stuff I can remember, I should have kept it all, but I say going forward, if it hadn't happened in the last year or two, I probably won't talk about it much. So,
right. All right. Well, this week in metal history is brought to you by This Day in Metal over on Twitter and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde over on Facebook, respectively. For the week of the 24th through the 30th, starting off with a couple of holdovers from last Saturday's date. July 23rd, 1990, Hurricane releases their third studio album, Slave to the Thrill. July 23rd, 2021, Yngwie Malmsteen releases Album of the Year, Parabellum. It's a running joke here at the Metalheads Unite podcast.
The best album ever by the best guitarist ever.
Yes, that's right. July 23rd, 1996, Nevermore releases their second studio album, The Politics of Ecstasy. Jumping ahead to the 24th, July 24th, 1990, Magnum releases their eighth studio album, Goodnight L.A., and Winger releases their second studio album, In the Heart of the Young, peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200. And Kip Winger had a fixation on the young. I will just say that right there.
Well, I mean, according to his songs, yes.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of take that for what you will, but
she's only 17.
I don't know. They say she's too young, but she's old enough for me. Right.
Yes.
Calm down.
I don't know if you can get away with that these days.
No, you can't. July 24th, 2015, Joe Satriani releases his 15th studio album, Shockwave Supernova. And July 24th, 2001, Avenged Sevenfold releases their debut studio album, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet. Moving ahead, July 25th, 1985, Iron Angel releases Hellish Crossfire. July 25th, 2000, Ed Guy releases their fourth studio album, The Savage Poetry. 1977. July 25th, 1977. I got a little ahead of myself there. AC/DC releases Let There Be Rock. July 25th, 2005, Nevermore releases their sixth studio album, The Godless Endeavor. Moving ahead, July 26th, 2019, Helix releases their 14th studio album, Old School. July 26, 2004, Metal Church releases their seventh studio album, The Weight of the World. And July 26, 1985, Talon releases Never Look Back. Moving ahead, July 27th, 2018, Incantation releases Decimate Christendom. July 27th, 1992, At the Gates releases their debut studio album, The Red in the Sky is Ours. July 27th, 2012, Tankard releases their 15th studio album, A Girl Called Cerveza. July 27th, 1993, Steve Vai releases his third studio album, Sex and Religion, which peaked at number 48 on the Billboard 200. July 27th, 1979, AC/DC releases their sixth studio album, Highway to Hell. And July 27th, 2010, Avenged Sevenfold releases their fifth studio album, Nightmare, which debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Moving ahead, July 28th, 2017, Masterplan releases their sixth studio album, Pumpkins. July 28th, 1998, Camelot releases their third studio album, Siege Perilous. And July 28th, 2003, Nevermore releases their fifth studio album, Enemies of Reality. Nevermore loves July. Moving ahead, July 29th, 2016, Ginger releases their second studio album, King of Everything. July 29th, 1997, Pantera releases the live album, Official Live 101 Proof, which peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200. I know I don't usually add live albums to this, but I like Pantera, so there. July, yeah, I know. July 29th, 2013, James LaBrie releases his third solo studio album, Impermanent Resonance. And here's a blast from the past for you. July 29th, 2003, Britney Fox releases their fourth studio album, Springhead Motor Shark. And then moving ahead to today's date, the only thing I have so far is from last year, July 30th, 2021, Axl Rudy Pell releases Diamonds Unlocked 2. So those are historical releases from the 24th through the 30th.
That Axl Rudy Pell's a busy guy, man.
Yes, he is.
They just had an album out this year, right?
I think. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'd have to look, but I think you might be right.
Yeah, year after year after year.
Hey, there you go. The gift that keeps on giving.
Right. So just want to take a moment and apologize to the radio.co people out there listening. As I went out, I forgot to log the radio.co back up. So so they're up and going now. So I apologize for the silent airwaves there. So.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is if anybody who's listening on radio.co, if there's any, don't know exactly how far, how much of a spot of dead air there was, they can always go back and check us out on, YouTube and stuff like
Twitch
that. So.
And Twitch
yeah.
And Facebook and all that good stuff. So.
So this latest edition of playlist, is that last week's top 10?
Yep, that's last week's top 10. So just a introduction to this week's top 10.
Yeah. Segues for days.
That's right. This week's top 10, we decided that being a big wrestling weekend here in Nashville area, we have SummerSlam going on, and then we have Ric Flair doing his last match with NWA. A lot of wrestling stuff going on in this area this weekend. So
yeah,
we decided to break down our top 10 favorite metal songs involving wrestling. So it could be entrances, video game, whatever. So
and you were right. It took a little bit of digging on this one.
Just mainly to figure out where they come from. I mean, I know a lot of the songs that were there, and what they were on, but I knew they used them, but just didn't know what like pay-per-view they were on, right. or whatever. The entrance music was pretty easy. I mean, I already kind of knew whose entrances I was going to use, but
there's actually a really cool website I ended up finding for this. It's called cagematch.net.
Yeah.
It's it's called Cage Match, the Internet Wrestling Database, and this fucking website has got so much in. I mean, you type in a wrestler, you just take any wrestler, you type in Stone Cold Steve Austin, you search for him, and then it's got let's see, wrestlers overview. And I mean, there's really no wrestler you can't find. But I mean, and then it's got their bio and like all their other what they used to be known as and everything else.
I think I may be even in that database.
Get out of here! No way. Hang on. Hang on, we're going to find that out right now. All right, hang on. I looked up Mr. Impact JT Quest and didn't find anything. But
don't put the Mr. Impact in it.
Okay. Son of a bitch, there you are. Look at that shit.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, wow, holy shit. Matches per promotion and year. Holy shit, man.
That's not accurate, but
let's see. You were the NWA heavyweight champion 3 times for 140 days.
Yep.
Let's see. NWA Mid-America Heavyweight Champion for 28 days, for 63 days, and then 49 days. Nice.
Yep.
Holy shit. It's got a whole bunch of, let's see. On June 8th of 2002, you lost to Tim Renesto at the NWA main event. On June 29th, 2002, you beat Screaming Demon at the NWA main event. All right, I'm going to get into all this. I'm going to get into all this.
I got you excited over there.
Because that's something new. That's too cool right there, man. But yeah, that cagematch.net's a badass.
Yeah. So,
that's a badass website.
Yeah, I was actually, I don't know where I found that list, but there was a old list of like when TNA was actually NWA.
Yeah.
I was like the number 10th contender for the TNA heavyweight belt.
Oh shit! Look out!
Yeah, because I was of course, the NWA Mid America champion, so
right.
that automatically gets you a spot in the running. So
yeah,
which was pretty cool. It's like
okay, that's cool. That's badass. I like.
Yeah,
that.
So I mean, like I said, you know, not to you know. Not to like try to brag or anything, because I'm not by no means, because I didn't do half the shit I probably could have done, but it's just cool to know that, you know, what you do can be found out there somewhere. So,
yeah.
Which there's a guy right now, Brian Hardison, that I wrestled with. He's been putting a lot of old school videos together and throwing them on YouTube for everybody. And man, nice. he has found some pretty rare footage of stuff. Man, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Oh man, you got beat. You lost. See, somebody beat you by DQ. Jamie Dundee defeats JT Quest by DQ.
He probably cheated. You know.
Probably. Well, like I say, Mr. Impact got hosed. You know, I say that all the time.
Yeah. Damn, Jamie Dundee. Oh my God. I could probably go on here for the next 30 minutes and talk stories about Jamie Dundee. So that dude's wild, man. He's a funny damn guy, though, man. I love Jamie.
Yeah, that's cool as hell, though. I'm gonna read all those later.
Yeah, Jamie and Wolfie both were always pretty cool dudes, man. Wolfie was always, you know, he wasn't as the cut up much as Jamie was, but he was still a cool, laid back guy. So it's kind of cool to see like those people that actually, you know, I've heard stories from him and Wolfie that were pretty funny, but you know, it's kind of wild how Memphis wrestling was so big back in the day that you could just damn near get away with anything. It was like,
yeah,
you know, be drunk and get escorted back home by the police because of who you were, instead of getting put in jail. You know,
right?
It's like, wow, man. It's like, because I mean, that right there, you were a superstar if you made it in Memphis wrestling back in the '80s. So 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it is kind of good, and I don't think there's anywhere near the amount of those smaller promotions that there were back in the day when wrestling was a lot more regional than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still cool to see that, you know, some of these quote unquote, you know, smaller organizations, you know, are still around. So it's the independent circuit is still relatively strong, which is good.
Yeah, and I think like the thing that's missing around here is you know somebody. Of course, the NWA is pretty prominent around here now anyway.
Right.
With you know, oh man, Billy Corgan, you know, bought out NWA, and he's kind of, you know, kept it on Nashville based right now. So which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of like I was wondering, like, I know we haven't talked about it, but I know people have been talking about the Vince McMahon stepping down. You know, how is that going to affect things? And I think that's a perfect opportunity to start doing the old school, you know, territories again. You know, where you go here for, you know, Bill Dundee told me, you know, oh yeah, man, I do 6 months in Smoky Mountain, and then, you know, I'd go down and do 6 months in Georgia, then I'd come over here and do 6 months in Texas, then I'd come over here and do 6 months. So I mean, you were doing like 6 to 9 months, you know, travels and doing storylines and stuff for 6 to 9 months, and then you moved on. You know, it's like,
yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of cool to hear those stories. It's like, man, that would be kind of cool, just because you kind of go around and you're not just in and out of a town. You actually have time to sit and relax and enjoy some of the things that the entertainment or whatever that the town has to offer. So.
Well, and I can't speak from experience, but I mean, I think doing it that way, it becomes less of a grind, and I think people,
Yeah.
I think some of these guys could actually, it's like their families wouldn't be affected as much, because I mean, you could even, if you're staying in one place for 6 to 9 months at a time, you could even have them come stay with you.
Right.
Watching a lot of those biography shows on A&E talking about the WWE legends and shit like that. Almost every single one of them was like married multiple times, because I mean they were never home, and even guys like Stone Cold. I mean everyone's personal life is affected when you have to be on the road for 300 plus days a year. I mean, it's just going to happen. You're never fucking around. You're never around. What do you expect people what do you expect your loved ones at home to do when you're just not there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happens in metal. Metal too. Is you're traveling on the road, especially if you're overseas. Because I mean, you're not going to fly your family overseas. I mean,
right.
I mean, you might, but I mean, that's probably very rare that you would do that.
Yeah, probably only the biggest acts who have the finances to do so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always said the thing that I would probably do in that case is I would like try to find a place that I liked. It's like if I'm over there or whatever, and I was like, oh man, Denmark's great. We need a vacation there. And I would take them on vacation there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, if you're traveling around the world, you're going to see a lot of places that you oh man, I'd love a vacation here. So that would be the only positive thing about traveling like that, I think. So,
yeah. You get a firsthand account of a place you'd like to come back to. Sure, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, they bring that way you can bring your family in.
Yeah.
And, show them around a little bit. So,
yeah.
All right.
But I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very good list once we compile it.
Yeah,
I
actually went. Man, I kind of went. I kind of went back old school, new school, and I went through entrances and pay-per-views and video games, and I mean I got a little bit of everything on mine.
Yeah, me too. I do too.
So I'll kick this thing off here. Top 10 metal songs associated with wrestling. Of course, wrestling and metal's a big hand-in-hand marriage. A lot, especially with people like Triple H and Edge and all them. It's involved in as much as we are. So,
yep.
So speaking of which, the very first one that I had was Motorhead the Game. Of course, that's Triple H's theme music from the WWE Music Volume 5. Of course, Motorhead is a big involvement in WWE, and I actually have another one of theirs as a extra in case we double anything. But
yeah, I actually ended up with 14 also. So
okay, cool. So we'll have a pretty decent list anyways.
Yeah.
My second one that I had was Killswitch Engage This Fire. That's from CM Punk. Money in the Bank 2011 is what the list was for Spotify anyway.
Yeah. Also, never mind. I'll wait my turn.
Yeah, and I do know that was used by Randy Orton a little bit too. So, but I don't remember that. But it said it was, but I don't remember that. But anyway,
right.
Then this one was kind of odd. So we're gonna have to use Pantera Walk for RVD's ECW theme because it was actually a cover by Kilgore, which is not on Spotify at all. So
right. Yep.
Which is crazy, but anyway. I would have to say it's a damn good cover because I couldn't tell the difference when he came to the ring. So, and then I used Metallica Seek and Destroy, which was Sting's entrance music in WCW. Then I had Godsmack When Legends Rise. That was on Crown Jewel 2019 and also on Super Showdown 2019 and 20. So it's been on a few different pay-per-views.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there you go.
And then I used Fozzie's Judas, of course, Chris Jericho's theme in AEW. Then I used the Union Underground Across the Nation. That was from the WWE Forcible Entry CD from 2002. Pretty sure it was SmackDown or Raw's theme music forever. I can't remember. I think it was SmackDown, but could be wrong. Could have been Raw, but
I'm trying to. I the song.
yeah, it's like
Obviously, I'm
back in the
trying.
'90s. Like,
Yeah,
I can't remember.
obviously I remember the song, but God, I can't remember. I can't remember which one of the two shows it was for.
Yeah, I can't
I'm
either.
actually wanting to say it was Raw.
I think you're right. I think
I think
now
it
that
was
I think
Raw.
about it. All right, this one, it was. I didn't want to duplicate much, but this is also an RVD WWE entrance. With Shadows Fall, Fury of the Storm. So anytime I put Shadows Fall on here, I want to. So
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
He came out to RVD came out to Shadows Fall.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Son of a bitch. They didn't have that. They didn't have that. Not that I don't. I definitely believe you, but they didn't have that on that. They didn't have that on that cage match.
Yeah. Hey, I looked these up on Spotify. I looked these up on Spotify before I even did this to make sure they're on.
I definitely, like I say, I definitely believe you.
Then the next one I used was Alice in Chains, Man in the Box, which was Tommy Dreamer's ECW entrance. And then this is my last. Yeah, this is my last one that I had on my regular list was Non-Point Everybody Down. I was from the SmackDown versus Raw 2008 video game.
Nice.
And then I had 3 extras here. So I didn't know this was done by Ash Costello, but Ash Costello actually sings Rhea Ripley's WWE theme, Brutality. So
okay,
Ash Costello is obviously New Year's Day's lead singer. So.
Yep.
Then I chose Motorhead Line in the Sand, which was the Evolution theme. WWE.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah.
So yeah, they were definitely involved with Triple H a lot. So, and then I don't know why I put this one on here, but it was a Non-Point Bullet with a name. I can't remember who come out to it, but I'm just kidding.
Shit, I'm surprised you didn't put that. I'm surprised you didn't put that at the top of your list.
I didn't want to be too cocky,
No, fuck that, man. Shit, that's exactly what. Shit, I would have done that.
Yeah. I'd save it for last. It was more of a joke.
No, hell no, man. No. When I put this list together, I'm moving that one up to the top of the goddamn list.
This was actually that was actually on. I can't remember what video game it was on, but I remember like people were messaging me and it was just like, "Hey man, I created you in this video game because your theme song was on it." And I'm like, "What?" It's like I didn't even have the video. Yeah, I didn't even have the video game. So I'm just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Nice.
So it was like, I mean, I got messaged on Facebook, like I know about 10 people at least was like, "Hey man, I created you on my video game." Like, what are you talking about? They're like, yeah, nice. Non-Point's Bullet with my name was on there, so I just put you. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That's more than cool. That's badass.
Yeah, and like I people talk about this. I didn't really get more of permission to use that song, but I definitely had a blessing because I like met Non-Point years ago and was talking to him about it, and I said, yeah, Bullet with my name's got a big impact because I use that as my wrestling interest or whatever, and of course that drove them into talking about wrestling because Elias and Rashid and all them are big wrestling fans, so.
Hey, there you go.
So the big running joke with me and those guys is Rashid. I always said Midnight Express was the best tag team ever. And Elias asked me, he said, "Who do you think the best tag team ever was?" I said, "The Road Warriors, of course." He's like we're way over like away from Rashid. They're like up in his tent. And Elias is going, "Rashid, I fucking told you, man." so every time I comment on any of their stuff, I say, "Hey, tell Rashid, Legion of Doom is still the best tag team." So they actually laughed. I was actually when I seen him in Alabama, we met him, and I actually said that when I was leaving. I said, "Oh yeah, by the way, LOD's still the best tag team." And Rashid's of course pointing at me, laughing. Okay. So
that's badass.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny to have an ongoing joke with a band. So.
I know. Yeah. All right. Well, my top 10, which turned into a top 14. Let's see. Leading off, I went with Glass Shatters by Disturbed off of WWE Forceful Entry from 2002, which was the entrance music for Stone Cold Steve Austin, which still his original one was still my favorite, but I did like the spin that Disturbed put on it. Then I also had Seek and Destroy by Metallica off of Kill 'Em All 1981 that Sting used in WCW. Then I went with Cult of Personality by Living Color off of Vivid from 1988 that CM Punk used in Ring of Honor, WWE, and currently in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also went with This Fire Burns from Killswitch Engage off of As Daylight Dies from 06. CM Punk used it. Randy Orton used it, and it was also, I can't remember what show you said that they used it on, but they also used it at WWE Judgment Day in 2006. Then I had Bodies by Drowning Pool off of Sinner from 2001. It was the theme song for SummerSlam of 2001. Then I also went with Walk by Pantera from Vulgar Display of Power from 1992. And I wasn't gonna use it initially because of like you had talked about that he came out in ECW to that song, but it was a cover by Kilgore. The only reason why I opted to use it is because Cage Match actually does have it listed that he came out to the original version in ECW at some point.
Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah, so they have both versions of the song listed, the cover by Kilgore and the original version by Pantera listed for when he was in ECW. So that's ultimately why I went with it. So I don't know when he came out to the in ECW. He got credit for it on Cage Match, so I'm going with it. So, and I also saw a video during doing all my research. I actually saw a video where I can't remember the website. May have been Metal Edge. I don't know. I don't want to give him proper credit or take credit away. But somebody interviewed RVD about him using that song and like why he decided to use it. And basically ultimately he ended up using it just because it was a badass song, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't know is that when he came to WWF at the time, he actually talked to Shane McMahon about using Walk as his entrance when he got there. And supposedly Shane told him that they were going to work on purchasing the licensing. And then I guess they kind of went behind his back and then got that song One of a Kind, recorded for him, which I thought was funny because RVD was like, I didn't really care for that one too much, but they kind of went ahead and had it recorded, especially for me. So, so that was kind of a cool behind the scenes kind of thing. So,
yeah.
So I liked that. And then next I went with Enter Sandman by Metallica, obviously off the Black Album for 91 because Sandman, of course, came out to that when he was in ECW. Then I had Stricken by Disturbed off the 10,000 Fists from 2005. It was used for the theme song for WWE New Year's Revolution pay-per-view in 2006. Then I went with Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth from Countdown to Extinction from 1992. Cactus Jack actually used this as his entrance when he was in IWA in Japan. Yeah.
Cool.
And then my last one on my top 10 was South of Heaven by Slayer off of the album of the same name from 1988 that CM Punk used to come out to when he was on the independent circuit. So tell you what, man, CM Punk's got a great taste in music.
yeah.
He really does. And then my extras, I had Iron Man by Black Sabbath off of Paranoid from 1970 that was used by the Road Warriors in AGPW, the AWA, the NJPW, NWA, and WCW. So then I went with Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie off of Las Exorcisto Devil Music Volume 1 from 1992 that Tommy Dreamer used in ECW as well. Then I went with Crush 'Em by Megadeth off of Risk from 1999 that Bill Goldberg used in WCW for a short time, right around the time where he was in Universal Soldier: The Return. And then last but not least, I went with Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson off of Antichrist Superstar from 1996. That was the SmackDown intro from 2001 to 2003. So,
yeah, I was going to include that Road Warriors one because that was like my favorite tag team. But
yeah,
I was like, I was trying to get a little bit more creative, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a feeling that
they went from that to ooh, what a rush.
yeah, which was still fucking badass because that entrance still got a hell of a pop. So
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be a really really good list once it's all put together. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right.
So yeah, we'll get that compiled and posted to the Facebook page. I'll probably as soon as we go off the air here today, I'll try to put that together. I'll get the collaboration link sent over to Jason. We'll try to get it posted to the Facebook group with the link to add songs. Which I will say that still no one has taken no one has taken us up on that. So
Well, everybody's got busy lives. We understand, but it's
yeah,
there if you want. If you want to participate, it's there. So
yeah, it's still fun for us regardless. So
yep. All right, I guess that will take us into album reviews this week.
Yep.
For a long list, there wasn't many that caught my ear. To be honest,
yeah, same.
A lot of death metal. All you death metal fans, there's plenty of stuff for you guys. So.
Yes, there is. There's definitely a lot of death metal to listen to this week.
And I think the thing that I have a problem with death metal is it's not really the music in general. It's more of the vocals because it's not. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they all kind of like the same format. Is saying there's nothing. There's very few of them stand out as being like more creative, I guess, with vocal styles.
Yeah.
Which is kind of saddening because I figure by this point that people would be a little bit more creative with that sort of thing with all the outlets that they have to use now to make it that way.
Yeah,
but it is what it is. People still dig that shit. So I mean, to each their own. Like I said,
of course.
I ain't going to knock them. That's for sure because I can't do none of it.
Right.
All right, the album that I took for this week was Raptor. It's Raptor. So I don't know if that's like a play on words with rapture or what, but I thought it was kind of interesting. But their new album is called Black Fire. They are from La Plata, Buenos Aires in Argentina. But that was their early on. I guess they moved to Barcelona, Catalunya, Spain later. So they started in 2012. Definitely they just listed as a heavy metal act, which I can definitely get on board with that. Current members are Nico Catani, vocals and guitars. Christian Blade bass, Angel Smolsky drums, and Jamie Keelhead on guitars. So looks like the only original member on here is Nico Catoni, the vocalist and guitar player there. So
okay.
everybody else kind of came in 18 and 20. Could be the reason why it's been so kind of in between with albums and stuff. So. Because this is just their second full-length album, so been around for 8 years and just got 2 albums. That's kind of a big absence there. So this one was 8 songs, 31 minutes, 41 seconds. Definitely has an old school metal sound. Kind of reminding me of like Loudness and Crocus, kind of. So. Nico's definitely got some good vocal range. Of course, it's all cleans, but he can carry some of those high notes for a pretty good bit. So definitely got some good vocals there. So really good guitar solos on there too. So that's another thing. Kind of reminds you of the old school feel. Is a lot of the belting and holding of those high notes and the guitar solos. And so it's got all that old school 80s, early 90s feel for heavy metal. So,
oh yeah.
Listen to this one. Actually, it's like. Kind of thought about it as a man. It kind of took me back to being in my room at 15 and just jamming out to some new shit, Definitely living that era of heavy metal moniker, that's for sure. I'm gonna give this one 3.5 horns. It could have been. There was some parts of it I thought could have been a little bit better, but then I also listened to an EP, Rig Time. That's another. I don't know if that's another play on words for big time or not, but it's Rig Time, RIG. They had a EP out called Reborn. Band was formed in Wisconsin. These two performers exhibit the mass of a full band aura as they implement a complete vocal, guitar, bass, drum, synthesizer performance without backing tracks. Vocalist and drummer Brian Fleming heaves malicious power from behind the kit, scowling with every word reaching from his diaphragm while rendering strong in the pocket grooves and doom-laden analog soundscapes to reinforce the impact. And then guitarist bassist Rebecca Fleming enforces a cataclysmic onslaught of riffs through her unique live setup, devastating the listener with vast atmosphere, agile application, and thoughtfully calculated compositions. And no, I did not write that. So, yeah. But that was just on their page there for their some feedback again. We just
little bit of a bio there. So
yeah, it was part of their bio. So I thought that's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty accurate from what I heard. So I'm gonna just go with it. So. Just a second, I got to redo this sound thing again because it's there we go.
All right.
It started giving feedback again because I restarted and forgot to fix all that. So this is the band's third release. I'm not sure if they consider the first album called Sick of It a full length or not, since it's more on the lines of an EP to me because it's at 16:49 with 7 tracks. And then they had a second release called War that was 10 songs in 25 minutes and 6 seconds. So you know, they like, maybe they just like short albums. I don't know.
They must, yeah.
But not gonna lie, I really thought there were like 4 or 5 people in this band when I first listened to it until I read that bio. And I was just like, dude, are you freaking for real right now? It almost reminded me of the first time I heard Spirit Adrift, you know. And, I was like,
yeah.
And then I was like, what the fuck you mean there's only 2 guys in this band? There ain't no way. It's like,
right.
So the background vocals even sounded like there were like multiple people singing, which was crazy. It's like, are you sure? Because it sounds like there's 4 people there. Like what? But so very, very impressive on that aspect of it. It's always is when you get a duo that sounds like that. They're sound like a quartet. That's pretty impressive. So
yeah.
Definitely feel the vocals are more metalcore, even though they do sample a little bit of like doom and maybe even black metal, but definitely more metalcore to me. Drumming and vocals has to be a challenge, so kudos for that. I don't know many drummers that sing too, so
yeah, they're usually pretty busy.
yeah. So could you imagine Thomas Hake playing Bleed and trying to sing it too? So,
oh, good God, no.
If he hears this, he's probably like, this motherfucker better shut up. But
yeah, he's like, don't give him any goddamn ideas.
Oh man. It did have like a 56 second intro. So I felt like they should have tried to get one more track in on an EP, but that's just personal preference. I really did like it though. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 horns for that EP. So.
Nice.
So not too bad this week. So
yeah,
definitely not as impressive as last week, but
yeah, I think we didn't we have 4 or didn't we have 3 4-horn albums last week?
Yeah, I think so. And then a 4.5, I think. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did 4.5, a 4.5, and a 4, and I did a 4. Yeah, so yeah, it was all right. That's okay. All right, the one album that I got through this week, and I actually do have a write-up. I have a write-up that I'm going to do. I meant to get to it earlier this week, and I ran out of time. Before I get into this week's, I did listen on top of my album from last week. I did get through one more earlier in the week. I went through and I listened to the new album Syndrome by Steel Cage. They are a band out of Naples, Italy. They were formed in 1995. Encyclopedia Metallum has them as a death/thrash metal band earlier in the career that they later switched to melodic death metal. It was only their second full-length album since they've been together. Like I said, they've been together
Wow.
since '95, so they've been
That's
together like
crazy.
they've been together like 27 years, and their first LP didn't come out until '06, and then they didn't have another one come out until last Friday. So I'm not exactly sure what the deal is going on with this band, but I listened to the new album Syndrome, and I don't really know where they get the description that they're melodic death metal. Even I would actually think the death/thrash metal description is a little more accurate, even though it says that they changed over. Because and the weird thing is they have like a dual vocalist attack, kind of like Lacuna Coil does, kind of like Nightwish, and they have a female vocalist who sings clean all the way through, and then they have a male vocalist who adds the more aggressive and the guttural vocals. So, but the weird thing is they don't have the male vocalist credited on the Encyclopedia Metallum page. So I don't know who in the band provides the male vocals because they don't have them listed. So it's kind of weird. But the overall, the album, I did like the album. It was a little there were some thrash elements in there. The weird thing is the drum work was phenomenal. And the one thing that I kind of noticed about this album is like some of the guitars seemed to be kind of like an afterthought, which was weird because there were some thrash elements in there, but a lot of the guitar riffs were pretty. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't know how to play the guitar, but some of the guitar riffs sounded kind of basic, if that makes any sense. And then it almost seemed like they had the guitars tuned down so the drums could be more in the forefront, the drums and the vocals. So I don't know if that was done on purpose or what, but I mean, overall, I like the album. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. Like I say, there were some things that I thought could have been done a little bit better. I wish a little bit more attention would have been paid to the guitar riffs, and some of the solos were kind of bland, which I didn't really care for. I was like, these guitar players have got to be able to play a little bit better than this. So, I was a little disappointed in some aspects, but overall it was okay. So I'm going to give that one 3 out of 5, but I am going to do a write-up on it I'll post it at the Facebook page, for anybody who has missed it, here today. So, as far as this week goes, I went ahead and I listened to the new album Mortem Solus by Chrysion. They are a death metal band formed in, I hope I say this right, Ihui, Brazil in 1990. It's actually a trio of brothers. You have Alex Camargo on bass and vocals. You have Max Kolesny on drums and Moises Kolesny on guitars. And come to find out that the reason why they have different last names is Alex took the father's last name, and Max and Moise took their mother's last name. But they are all three brothers. They've been in the band from its inception in 1990. Supposedly, according to Encyclopedia Metallum, they were a 4-piece for a very, very short time, but apparently they thought that they worked better as a 3-piece. So I don't remember the name of the artist who was the quote unquote fourth wheel for a little while. So yeah, they brought in a fourth guy, decided we're just going to stay a trio, and they kind of moved on from him. So yeah, all three of the brothers have been in the band since its inception. This is Mortem Solus is their 12th full-length studio album. I won't run down the entire list, but their debut album Black Force Domain came out in 1995, and then Mortem Solus came out yesterday. Mortem Solus is 10 tracks long, 40 minutes and 46 seconds, so a relatively quick listen. The one thing that was odd about the album is track number 6, Dawn Sun Carnage, is listed as an intro. It's only 1 minute and 33 seconds long. I don't know what it's an intro to, because it's right smack dab in the middle of the album. And it's right smack dab in the middle of the album, and it had a fade out instead of a lead into the next track. So I don't know what it's an intro to, but it definitely seemed out of place right smack dab in the middle. If it would have been, technically quote unquote track 1, I guess I could have understood, but
Yeah.
I don't know how track 6 is an intro to anything. But this was the first album of Christians that I've ever listened to. I have heard of them. So this was the first time I've ever sat down and listened to some of their music, especially definitely one album all the way through. Their lyrical themes include Satanism, darkness, death, murder, apocalypse, anti-Christianity, and blasphemy. So, they don't like church too much, basically.
Are they going to be in East Tennessee
yeah,
or West Tennessee?
West Tennessee. Yeah. Let's hope not. But the funny thing is, we've talked at length multiple occasions about how we're not the biggest death metal fans, but I will say this: as far as death metal albums go, this one was surprisingly thrashy at times. I was kind of pleasantly surprised at some of the guitar work that was done in here. So that helped. The vocals were still guttural, like almost all death metal is, but Alex Camargo, he sings relatively clean as far as the death growls are concerned. So it wasn't as much of a hindrance for me that a lot of death metal vocals end up being. So overall, this was a relatively decent album to listen to. I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5 also. I could see myself listening to more Christian stuff moving forward. Like I say, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way, but if their stuff popped up on Spotify, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, some Christian, not too bad.
Yeah.
I will say this though about death metal in general, and I'm gonna try to describe it the best I can. There is one thing about death metal that is a massive pet peeve for me. There is one drum line in death metal that seems to be repeated over and over and over and over again, and it gets on my goddamn nerves. It's this repetitive snare drum line. And Jason, I know you would know it if you heard it, but for some reason I don't know why that snare drum line is used in it's seemingly every death metal song, but it drives me crazy. It's just a personal thing. When I hear that snare drum line, I'm like, there it is. And I don't know what it is, but I don't know why it's used so much in death metal, but I don't know. Like I say, just a little bit of an aside. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine as far as death metal is concerned, but I actually did enjoy this album. A lot of times I'll be listening to a death metal album, and at some point I'm just like, you know what, I'm done with this, and I just kind of move on. But no, I mean, I listened to it from start to finish. I was like, you know what, this is okay. I mean, of course, a minute and a half intro in the middle of the album, they could have kicked that out. They could have kicked that one out. It could have been 9 tracks and 39 minutes and 15 seconds, and it wouldn't have taken away from the album at all. So,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the thought process was there, but yeah, I would say it was an album worth listening to for sure. So
cool.
Yeah,
not too bad of a week then. So
no, not bad.
So
and let's see what we've got looking forward to August 5th. Let's see, we got next week. We've got leading off. We've got Abaddon Incarnate with the Wretched Sermon. Then we have Amon Amarth with the Great Heathen Army, which I've listened to the first 2 singles off of that one, and I'm actually interested in hearing that one. So I may check that one out aside from whichever album I pick to be my formal write-up next week. Then we have Black Velvet Butterfly with a self-titled album. We have Bong Ra with Meditations. We have Koskrad with Nahanigan's Stadial. I don't know what language that's in. Then we have Dagger Threat with Weltschmerz. I think that's German. Then we have Early Moods with a self-titled album. We have Einherjar with Norse and Dangerous, live from the Land of Legends. We have Extermination Day with Be the Consequence. We have Fall and Resist with Darkness of Now. That is an EP. We have Fear Sore with Bloodworks. We have Flesh Rot with Unburied Corpse. Grave Bathers with Rock and Roll Fetish. We have Gregorian with Magten's Evangelium. We have Hauta Jaiso with I Hauta Kaisi Lupa. I think that's Finnish. I'm finished saying it. I know that's for sure. We have Heat with Force Majeure. We have Hellway Patrol with All Myths Shall Fall. We have In Heart's Wake with Green is the New Black. We have Liminal Shroud with All Virtues Ablaze. We have Live Comforty with Volume 2 Music for Living Failures. We have Master with the Human Machine, that's a re-release, and Master with the New Elite, that is a re-release. So a couple of re-releases from Master. We have Odd Circus with Deus, that's an EP. We have Frenesy with Fears Apocalypse. We have Planet of the Apes / Dune Eater with Turn to Stone, Chapter 5, that is a split album. We have Psychroptic with Divine Counsel, Rotting Empire with Buried in the Past, Rikers with Ours Was a Noble Cause, Savage Master with Those Who Hunt at Night, Shuriken Cadaveric Entwinement with Constructing the Cataclysm. We have Soulfly with Totem, new album from Soulfly. Then Speaking Stones with Inhuman Error, Stormbound with December, Tool with a vinyl re-release of Fear Inoculum. We have Toxic with Dismorta, and last but not least, we have Turian with No Longer Human. So a shorter list, when compared to this past week, but still plenty to choose from. So
yeah, probably a lot more there than we would have been choosing from. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we would have gotten like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep, that's what we have. That's what we have to look forward to next week. So, and speaking of looking forward to next week, Jason, you want to go ahead and fill everybody in on what we got going on?
Yes. So we're going to crank back up talking to some bands again. So so we're going to have some members of the band Source of Rage on. I actually did the album review of their album last week. Hit them up and they was like, yeah, they'd be glad to come on. So we set something up with them for August the 6th. So we will have them on live next week talking to those guys. So looking forward to that because
yes, we are.
So they are a German band, so it'll be in the evening over there. So if they're a little tipsy, just kind of.
Hey, that'll make for an interesting interview.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like like I said, when we talked to the DeFace, they were drinking wine and beer. I was like,
yep,
wind it down. So.
Yeah. Jens had a glass of wine he was working on, and Matthias had the grill fired up. So
So over in they'll be in the evening time over there. So not sure how long we'll get to talk to him, but we usually at least an hour or so. So hopefully,
yeah, that won't be bad at all.
Yeah. So I know it's kind of harder to talk to the guys from over there, 3 hours at a time since it's already 5 o'clock in the evening there. So I'm sure they're trying to wind down and relax a little. So I don't want to like bombard them and keep them on here forever. So
yeah.
It is good to get the guys from the States on when they can come on. So because they kind of run with the show, and we usually don't have to do too much. So
yeah. The cool thing is, it's definitely a good thing. But the cool thing is Devil holds the record. They hold the record as of right now. They were on the show for 3 straight hours. So for right now, Devil has set the bar high for bands coming on and sitting and talking with us. They were.
And I think Rick with the Extinction AD had it before them, right? So,
I do believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sepsis, I think, started all this. So thanks to Will from Sepsis for starting.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Which if you follow those guys, I think they were talking about they are working on some new music coming out pretty soon too. So
they are supposedly they have a new single coming out relatively soon. Does Sepsis? So we're definitely looking forward to that. So
yeah. So.
And Sepsis is slowly but surely creeping their way out of the Northeast. I think they've got a
I've seen that. So
they've got a show coming up in Chicago. I don't remember the date right off the top of my head, but so they will be kind of making their way out of the Northeast. They'll be making their way over to Chicago. So hopefully before too long they will be making their way into different parts of the United States. Maybe they'll make their way down here to Tennessee, and then thankfully at the the second Saturday in October we'll get to be hang out with Eyes of the Living when they come to West Tennessee for their opening of the portal to hell. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that story, but it's been the story's been circulating around here, obviously, because we live in Tennessee. But this Tennessee Metal Devastation Festival is taking place October 8th in Lexington, Tennessee, which is approximately 100 miles west of where Jason and I live. You head west on your way to Memphis, and you'll run into Lexington, Tennessee on I-40 headed out that way. Don't worry, non-point. It's the opposite direction.
Not going to guarantee the roads aren't as bad, but
right, yeah. So apparently the town of Lexington, Tennessee, is still living in 1985 because they're having that festival. It's a one-day festival. It's on October 8th. And, supposedly, a lot of the local, religious leaders there literally think that festival is going to open up a portal to hell. And they're serious as a heart attack. They're genuinely concerned about it. So
I've been more worried about lightning striking in your church,
right. Yeah.
From the hypocrisy that goes on in there. So
yeah. So I think that would be more of a risk than that happening. But, so we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to, again, touching base.
So kind of what that tells me is you're a Christian based organization, but you have heard of Death Clock. So
right. Yeah. That's right. Somebody has at least somebody.
Talk about opening a portal to hell.
Yeah, somebody in the congregation has at least anyway. So.
Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean,
I've seen that on Comedy Central, man.
Yeah. I mean, in 2022, I mean, we're still worried about this. I mean,
there's enough evil in the world without the concert, starting anything crazy.
Yeah.
So.
And trust me, if there would have been a portal to hell opened up at a heavy metal show by now, with some of the mosh pits I've seen at Slayer shows, it would have been there.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't seen one portal open up yet. So.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah.
But the funny thing is that just makes me. I mean, we're already going, but it makes me want to go that much more.
Yeah. So we went to WrestleMania in 2011 in Atlanta. And we were walking, and then there was people out there with signs talking about we were going to hell and all this crap because we were going to a wrestling show on Sunday instead of in church. So I let it go on for a little bit, and then this one guy just kept on. Like, he's walking up down the street carrying a sign, and he's like kind of across from us. And I walked out of line, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, fuck this guy." I went over there. I said, "Hey man," I said, "Where the fuck are you at right now? Why are you bitching? You take your ass to church if you want to be there." And like,
Yeah.
I was like, it's there's a way to go about doing that kind of stuff, and it's not at a show. I mean, because to me, there's probably plenty of Christians that go and watch wrestling. I mean, it's not you're watching a bunch of violence. Okay, I said, you do know, David killed Goliath with a rock, right? I mean, Adam, Cain killed Abel. I mean,
right,
so,
yeah.
You do know there was murder in the Bible, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just like that's one of the things that kills me is like they're so hypocritical with stuff. And, not saying all churches are like that because they're not, but I'm just saying there's. So this is the thing. It's like I don't blame the church as more as I do some of the members that make the church look bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like and I've seen that firsthand at churches I've been to before too, where some of the members just they're so hypocritical that you're just wondering, it's like why does anybody even come to this church while they're still here? So, but they run more people off than they bring in. So they probably need to be a little bit more careful about what they're doing with the and of course churches are run like a business and probably shouldn't be. So there's another problem.
That is obviously a completely different that's a whole different ball of wax altogether. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now that we went off on wrestling and religion on the
Yep.
Metalheads podcast.
Yep.
Oh man.
Well, see, the funny thing is, like, the wrestling thing makes sense because we have tie-ins all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, we definitely went off the rails there for a second.
Yeah.
So
I see like one of the comments on that post too that says, "Oh, they never heard of Christian metal."
yeah, POD, Demon Hunter,
yeah. I don't get it, man. I was like,
Striper, yeah. Shit, Striper's been around since the 80s. So I mean,
right, yeah, well, like 84 or something. So
yeah,
so been around for a long time. So. Oh man.
like we say here at the Metalheads Unite podcast, people are gonna people.
Ignorance is bliss. How about that?
Yep.
All right, so I guess we'll wrap this bad boy up for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show for what you heard of it. Jesus Christ, man!
Yeah,
like, there will be new equipment in this house next week. I promise you. So I'm not there's definitely some speaker issues and everything going on with this laptop. So I guess I'm investing in something new. So. So if you want to go fund me, I'm just kidding.
Actually, you want to go fund anybody? Go help that guy pay his hospital bills.
So. Yeah, no shit. Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, we'll wrap this bad boy up, and like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If not, you can go back and listen to it, like I said, on YouTube, Twitch. And of course, you can always catch us every week on those. Outlets as well as long as also TikTok, and of course Chris is still working out the bugs with that.
Yeah, I'm working out the bugs with TikTok. So
yeah, and I still got to link our Instagram up with our Facebook and stuff. So, which I forgot about. I apologize. Been kind of a hectic week for me. So
it happens.
It was my long week of working, and we were refinancing the house, and there's all kind of paperwork signing.
Oh yeah,
I've got bids going on everywhere about stuff to remodels and stuff around here.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah,
hopefully it's calmed down a little bit now, so I can actually get something done. So
yeah. Well, thankfully, I mean, we've already got 140 outlets that the show to. So hopefully the fact that we don't have TikTok and Instagram up and running, just yet isn't a hindrance to anybody, considering there's another 140 avenues, in which to find us. So speaking of which, we do have the VOPUSA.com website. We've got the VOP USA mobile app. We've got our YouTube channel. We've got the Facebook group. I mean, all sorts of different places.
Twitch, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitch and Twitter, which that's another thing I've completely forgotten to. I still haven't done a show Twitter. I'm still going to my personal ones. That's another thing I completely forgot about. So that's another thing we're going to work on. So yeah,
we're always trying to work on this stuff.
Yeah,
in our free time. So it's definitely it's good. It got to the point where I'm spending more time here than I am doing stuff in the yard. So we had to, my wife's done hired somebody to mow our yards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my mower is still busted. So one of the guys across the street, just came over and buzzed mine real quick. So, which I was super duper appreciative of. So,
yeah. Is it the guy that mows everybody's yard over there?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, he came. He actually. The funny thing was, I didn't even ask him to. He came across the street to do the guy that lives next to me, and while he was doing his, he took a look at mine. I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. So, after he was done, I walked across the street, shook his hand, and thanked him. So,
Yeah,
so,
cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's hard to find good neighbors like that anymore. So.
Yeah.
That actually do things for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My neighbor still got my 11 millimeter socket. So.
Hey, well, at least it's not your 10.
Right? Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this bad boy up, and we will be back next week with a special guest. And
yes.
And as much of the normal show as we can give you.
Yep.
Within 3 hours span.
That's right.
If it goes a little bit over 3 hours, we will. But hopefully we can get it all done. But all right. Well, anyway, I will be at the Metal Fest tonight in Clarksville, and then tomorrow going to see Ric Flair in his last match at NWA. So I got a busy weekend going on.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
metal and wrestling. That's what we've been talking about all day, right? So
there you go.
It just kind of fits with the weekend. So
yes, it does.
Well, until next week, then I guess we will see you guys back here next week. Until then, you can keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. See you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Have a great week.